Hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting and my best friend, the one and only Ramblin' Jerry Valeri.
Yo! And may I start with go Penn State?
Yeah, we're both Penn State grads and very happy to hear about their football success.
That was big stuff. I went to the game on Saturday and I ended up. It was a good time. I drank a little more than I should, but that's what happens when you go out without your wife.
I can only imagine. No, yeah. I saw the pictures of you on the field. It seems like you had a great time.
I've got front row. I was right behind the team. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know either.
I'm famous, dude. Watch out.
On State College, for sure. Absolutely.
Hashtag famous.
#1 radio personality, without a doubt.
Yep.
So I'm very happy to hear that. How are you? It feels like it's been a week since we've talked.
Well, I've never got to tell you this, but I'm very thankful for you, and I'm very thankful for Post to Post.
Oh,
we didn't do a Thanksgiving edition, and I was thinking, like, I'm very thankful the series of events that led to me being able to do this podcast, and I wanted to say that for sure. And I'm also very thankful for Chris Jericho.
I'm thankful for Chris Jericho. I'm very thankful for you. I'm glad that you've been able to be able to do the show with me. And I'm so appreciative because I know it's a sacrifice for you. And just thank you for being a part. I love having you here.
That's awesome. And as per something you were talking about today, maybe on the air, but definitely on Facebook, I'm thankful for goats in duck costumes.
Yeah, is that not the cutest thing ever?
I instantly want a duck. And a goat.
Yeah, I want the goat in the duck costume. Exactly.
I'll take a duck in a goat costume. I'm sure that's adorable too.
But I want to make clear, I want a blind, anxious goat. That's what I want.
Right.
So it's been a week since we've talked wrestling, but we've got a Raw last night. By the way, we're in the last few of the year. We've got, and there was so much to do. You mentioned, I can't believe it, we have a pay-per-view to predict on Thursday.
Man, it came up fast. Didn't Survivor Series just happen?
Yeah, I know. I thought we just talked about Survivor Series. They need to cool down on these pay-per-views. I hear that might be happening in 2017. We'll see. So we've got
Raw's
that.
Already promoting theirs. They've got Roadblock, I guess, coming up in just a couple more weeks.
They sure do. And I would love to do, because I've got a lot of vacation, I guess, still to use. My last day of work is going to be the 15th, I believe. So our last Post to Post is going to be in just a few weeks, really.
Well, and I'd like to do an extra one at some point. Something you and Steve did last year, I really loved. You did like an end of the year thing.
Right. I was going to say that. I would love to have where we give superlatives and the best ofs of the year, episode. Yeah. So we'll work on that over the coming weeks too. So stay tuned for lots of exciting stuff happening on Post to Post. In the meantime, let's talk about Raw last night.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it. I've been waiting all day to tell you this, and I mean it from my heart. This is not hyperbole. Best Raw of 2016.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Really?
It hit me in the right spots. It might not be. It's a subjective thing. Best is subjective. It might not hit other people in the right way. And nothing unbelievable actually happened, but it's just the way I'm telling you, this could be the turning point for the WWE and Raw. It felt like if I told you everything that happened last night but left out the names of the wrestlers, you would think I was describing a show from the Attitude Era.
All right. Well, for example, do that.
Okay.
Here, before you do that, let me just tell you, I come from a place where the show was good. I felt like it didn't move the meter for me a whole lot in either direction. I thought that one of the best women's matches of all time happened last night.
I agree. That beat that Hell in a Cell match by a mile.
Yeah, it was a great match last night, but I would not call it the best Raw of the year. The one after WrestleMania rings a bell to me.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with that one, but just for me, I just loved it, and it was the little things that I loved the most.
But go ahead.
I don't take notes like you, so I'm going to try to go off the top of my head. But just starting the show, Jericho and KO. They're aces as always. Roman Reigns comes out. That bothers me. I don't think he should be in a main event spot here, but whatever. What I really like is the storytelling with KO and Jericho now. And Kevin Owens gets super mad, super upset. legitimately showing emotion. Like Roman got under his skin. That will make me care about that feud a little bit. And then he's yelling at Jericho, and they have a little mini breakup. I love what they did with Jericho leaving the arena and then getting sideswiped by Rollins, who didn't forget last week, which that match was great, by the way. And then he attacks him in the parking lot, ends up giving him a freaking pedigree on top of a car, and they're just very attitude stuff there. I like the Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman stuff. I really enjoyed that a whole lot. There were just a couple moments where I was like, this is very Attitude Era-y. You know, the Rusev and Enzo Amore stuff seemed like Attitude Era stuff. That seemed like something that Val Venus would have been caught in a feud like that. I was just okay with it. Like the whole show.
Well, I was certainly okay with it.
The wrestling was good. The Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns match I thought was great.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
The last match was epic. I watched it twice.
Last match was great. I
watched it twice.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with that. Here's what maybe I'm coming from the wrong space here, but like my whole time I'm thinking this show would have been perfect if it was just 2 hours.
I mean, I'll always agree with that, but you kind of have to take it for what it is.
Because if you watch an Attitude Era pay-per-view, I don't think that they should be 2 hours. Or if you watch a Raw from the Attitude Era, I feel like they could benefit from an extra hour. So I think you can have a good show in 3 hours of weekly TV. Okay. Well, Nitro wasn't exactly a good example of that, but I bet you if you gave a Raw in 1999 3 hours, it would have been fantastic. But I digress about that. I just wish they wouldn't have that. You know what I mean? Or you know what else I was thinking? Like they've got this 205 Live show that's about to start, which I'm very excited for, and I bet you are too.
Yeah.
Why can't, like, instead of doing it on the network, can't you have like the first hour of Raw be 205 Live?
I thought that was a great idea. They practically do that now. They spend a little less than an hour on cruiserweights in Raw, and I like that. And I think Brian Kendrick is a great heel right now. And I love the stuff with Sami Zayn and Mick Foley. I'm just telling you, like I couldn't. It wasn't all A+s and all 5 stars, and not everybody brought their A game. But for me, it was just so consistently good from beginning to end. I never fast forwarded it. And you know I'm famous for that. I don't do it. I didn't do it last night because there was no part of that entire show where I was like, I'm bored.
Okay, yeah, I mean it wasn't bad, you know. I don't know. I feel like we got a lot of extraneous Foley.
Yeah.
I feel like there was
like, aren't you excited for Jericho Rollins?
Yeah,
I am.
I mean, yeah. Like my only complaint about that, like I like the parking lot stuff and how this is becoming like this is what I like. It's becoming a long threaded, you know, woven story, and I like that. They had this parking lot brawl, which I thought was fine and was it was really good. They did one small thing that took me out of it. Do you know what it is? Do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't.
Like, I like for them to portray things like they're real. And there was one thing that happened that took me out of it. The whole thing was a one camera shoot the entire time, which is fine. I'm okay with them having a fight in the parking lot and there's a camera guy there. Then out of nowhere, after the pedigree on the car, it turns into a production. There's another camera that they cut to, which I'm assuming was a retake of an earlier thing that they probably taped with the one camera, but there was editing done or some sort of thing that took me out of the segment.
Right. And it was like a close up on Rollins. I saw that. Yeah.
And that drove me crazy because that wouldn't happen in real life. And then it happened again in the barroom brawl with Sheamus and Cesaro. That
happened in the barroom brawl, and I forgot to mention that. I actually really enjoyed the barroom brawl. I thought that was a great way to get them to be a team now.
Agree.
But I didn't like when they cut to everybody laughing. Like that seemed like someone made a joke, and then all of a sudden it cut to the whole bar like, ah, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
And it seemed super fake, but it's okay. That really reminded me of JBL and Simmons.
No, and since they haven't done something like that in so long that I was okay with it. It used to get overdone, but now it's sparing and it was well done. I just like an ECW level of realism would be appreciated. Like there's the WWE way of doing things, which is like totally 110% cartoon. And then there's like the ECW way, which is still unbelievable, but believable. You know, and last night we got that cartoony thing that I don't like as much.
But I was happy with it, and I felt good about it. Nobody really upset me on commentary. I liked the interview with Paul Heyman. I thought that was good.
There was one kind of what I would call a flub on commentary.
Okay.
I give it the line of the night because I feel like it's wrong.
What was your line of the night? My line of the night, it will surprise you, but go ahead.
My line of the night is Corey Graves talking to the Brian Kendrick, and Brian Kendrick is giving his viewpoints and his expertise, so to speak, as to what's going on in the cruiserweight division. And Corey Graves says to him, "I'm loving your expertise." Which just to me, it didn't feel like he was trying to be funny. It just came out really. Allow myself
did you tweet that?
Yes, I did. I got on the Corey Graves, the fake Corey Graves Twitter. Which I don't even remember. What is it?
Corey Graves said.
Yeah, thank you. I should probably know that. At Corey Graves said, if you want to add my parody Corey Graves account.
Yeah, it's your account. Get it right.
I know. I'm sorry. I suck. What was your line of the night?
My line of the night wasn't even funny. It came from Paul Heyman. He said, and then he speared him and cracked Brock's ribs. And it was fait accompli from therein. And I was like, he used fait accompli in a sentence. I guarantee wrestling fans were like, Googling it. Like, what does this mean? What's fait accompli mean? And it basically means the events have already been decided.
Yeah.
The ending is here, but the people involved don't know it yet. And I love that. I love that interview. Paul Heyman, my God, he had tears in his eyes. He is the best. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
I only know that term because it was in the movie Private Parts for Howard Stern.
Right.
Which is great because he was talking about his relationship with his wife being fait accompli. And of course he got divorced 2 years later.
Yeah. But I love that line. I also thought if you don't give it to Paul Heyman, then you give it to Jericho. Line of the night when he, Owens he has a stroke and he loses it. I did that on the air yesterday, actually, where like you're just in the middle of a word and for some reason your brain and mouth betray you, and you can't get through it. And he couldn't. You heard him and he was like, wow! And Roman jumped all over him. And then Jericho's like, these people don't realize that English is your second language, you stupid idiot.
I must have missed that. I feel bad for saying that because I did take a note about that. And you know what? That was my first note was Roman Reigns making fun of Kevin Owens for flubs on the mic and for screwing up on the mic is kind of like when, the Duff, the designated ugly fat friend shows up with two hot chicks.
Yes.
It's like you have no right. I don't care. I don't care if Kevin Owens started vomiting on the microphone. You have no right to make fun of anything that comes out of his mouth.
I love that you call him the Duff. I always call those girls the grenade.
Well, yeah. I've heard you use that term before, but now it's like a thing. People, I think, recognize that term, the Duff. If you don't, it means the designated ugly fat friend.
I love when acronyms come from dirty places, and my mom still doesn't know what it means, like Duff or FUPA.
I have the best story about FUPA. Did I ever tell you our family's FUPA story?
No, please tell me. Tell me now.
Okay, so I'm assuming people know what FUPA means because it's a pretty common acronym.
If you don't, the internet exists. Go look it up.
Right. So in freshman year of college, my sister gets a rabbit in her dorm. Okay, with a bunch of her roommates. There's like 4 of her in a dorm. Okay,
right.
So they named the rabbit Fupa. Okay, I don't know. I mean, for whatever reason, I don't even know if there was a reason. Maybe they just like the word. And
I can't wait. Your mom's going to show up at some point in the story.
So Fupa came home with Jessica, my sister, for that either Christmas or Thanksgiving. And like my mom, okay, it probably came home for Thanksgiving, and my mom had to babysit Fupa until Christmas. And then Jessica brought it back to college. My mom did not know that was a thing and would keep saying the name over and over again and would not get why people like extended family was laughing at it. It was so great that my sister pulled a Rob. Like that's something that I would have done. I was so proud of her.
When did you tell your mom what Fupa meant? Or does she still to this day not know?
Thanksgiving, 7-8 years ago? Yeah. It was when we had Fupa, but it was great. It was at the Thanksgiving table. And I remember I was so proud of my sister for making that happen.
Who told your mom eventually?
It was either me or it may have even been me. I'm not positive. It was a few years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear you explain to your mom what the P in Fupa stood for, like without saying it.
Privates.
Okay, yeah, that's a really nice way to say it.
Let's see. I don't have too much more from the Raw. I do want to say Raw very clearly has the weirdest boner for putting women in the main events. Although I was regretting that note I took after they give us like the match of the year.
I would have been really upset had they not ended with that. I mean, I thought that was great, and how funny were the fans that Sasha wins, and she like leans back and she's just like laying on this dude's lap. That dude looks so happy.
And then my final note is and it's kind of negative, and I mean, again, I don't want to trash the match of the night and the match of the year candidate, maybe the best women's match of all time. But that title needs to stop being such a hot potato.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they keep it on her for a little while. Like there can only be so. It's almost like Raw. The WWE saw Sasha Banks winning it was such a magical moment that they were like, you know what? Let's have her win it like 3 more times next month.
I think the rationale for this all roots back to SummerSlam.
When she got hurt?
Yeah, and that I think they made some rash fast judgments surrounding that match, and she wasn't as hurt as they thought that she'd be. So they gave the title back to Charlotte, and then I think that they wanted to make it seem like that was the plan all along. So they had her retain for long. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it all roots back to that SummerSlam debacle, which Charlotte, I bet you wishes gets deleted off the network, because I think Charlotte is maybe the best female wrestler of all time. But
that was a bad match.
But I mean, people like Mike, who's on the post show, they point to that match as being as a real example of her not being good. And they're right. If you watch that match, she looks awful in that match, and it looks like she screws up Sasha because she does. But if you take that one match out, I do think she's the best female around right now, or ever. Honestly.
And if I'm going to take off the rose-colored glasses and join you a little bit with a negative comment, as much as I like the story with Sami Zayn and Mick Foley, I'm getting tired of Mick Foley. Mick Foley, my favorite wrestler of all time, the hardcore legend. He did it before Hell in a Cell with the girls, and he's doing with Sami. Like, I don't want Foley to be the voice of physical reason. I don't want him to tell people, like, you're going to get hurt out there. You're going to get hurt out there. Listen, I watched a match with him in Japan where someone put a bed of nails on top of him, jumped off the top turnbuckle onto the floor, and elbow dropped a bed of nails into him.
Yeah.
He lost his ear with barbed wire and fire. Like, stop it.
You were
Stop
there
telling us to be sensible.
You were there when he fell through that table from the Hell in a Cell in Pittsburgh.
Went through, yeah. And that wasn't even physically, that wasn't even the most brutal fall he took that night. The one through the cage, through the top to the ring, where the chair hit him, knocked his tooth out, and he cracked 4 ribs. Like, that was serious.
I feel like if I had to be in one of those matches, I'd rather be in any of those Japan matches before I'd rather be in the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I don't like heights at all. I mean, I get body slam me on the thumbtacks. Like, I can handle that, which he took in the Hell in a Cell match anyway.
Yeah.
He took a tombstone right into it.
I know
they used to sell a T-shirt. I didn't have it, but they sold a T-shirt for Foley that listed all of his injuries on the back.
Or if you have his book, I think it's on the back cover of his first book.
So why is he out there telling wrestlers to be safe? Like, I just don't like that.
Well, I get where they're coming. He's now the wise old Foley, looking back on his life and trying to advise these guys, which a GM would do, or a good GM would do. But I just think it's becoming a lot. I really resented it. I resented it more leading up to the women's Hell in the Cell. I didn't like that one promo he did, begging them to reconsider and all that stuff. I just thought that was lame.
Well, compared to, especially when there were 2 other matches that were doing the same thing and he didn't care about it, it seemed sexist.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The Sami Zayn stuff, while it didn't move the needle much for me, I get where they're going with it. It felt a bit more in place than it did before with the girls.
Awesome. So, well, listen, if we don't have much more, I'd also like to say that I'm thankful for Mike that you mentioned and Steve for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And Tony. And I can't name all of them because my brain doesn't work like that. But everybody on the post show, everyone that comments and views it,
Benny,
it's pretty awesome that people that we get to talk about wrestling. I get to talk about wrestling with my best friend, and I get to watch it with my son, and then people watch it. So that's cool.
Yeah, I am so thankful for everyone that is a contributor. And even if you just watch and you don't participate in the conversation, thank you very much. This is why we do it. Actually, to be honest with you, we would still probably do it with just a handful of viewers. And if we weren't doing it with any viewers, we would be doing it on the phone, so,
the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. So I am thankful for it too. And it's great to be able to have fun at work. And it's just been a great year, and, I was worried that the show would die when Eric left. And, then Steve came in and he saved the day, and then he decided he couldn't do it anymore. So then you came in, and I was worried that it wouldn't work with your schedule, but you've made it work. And it's been great. It's been a great story for this show, and it's just fun. So thanks everyone for watching it.
And I'm also thankful for your mother and for Fupa's.
Yes. Long live Fupa. R.I.P. the rabbit. So, yes. All right, listen, we're going to wrap things up. Jerry, thank you for defending. You know what? I got to be honest, maybe I was looking at it a little sour last night. Maybe the show was better than I remember it.
It was just a lot of fun. It was like an Attitude Era fun in the parking lot. And to go, I'm going to give myself a fupa for everybody.
All right, let's check it out. As we wrap things up, here is I have no idea what this guy has planned. Let's check it out. For myself and my tag team partner, Ramblin' Jerry Valeri. And for Fupa the Rabbits. And of course, Mama Herschel. We out. That's just a gunt.